Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel. My name is Harry Durham. The group phase at the Grand Slam is completed. Let's look back on it all with a good pal of mine, the great, the powerful Phill Barrs of OnlineDarts. Phill, I never know how to introduce you properly. Owner, presenter, editor, um, constant darts traveller. I mean, what is the professional term to sum you up?
General Dog's Body. Would that go down quite well?
He's absolutely everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Bars, how's Wolverhampton? How's the last couple of days been since we kicked off at the Grand Slam? They treating you well up there?
Yeah, it's all right. The Orders of Leisure Village it's not my favourite venue. Once you're there, it's all right. It's a bit out of the way. It's a bit out of the city, so it's a bit of a nightmare. Once you're there, it's okay. And look, we've seen the panic on players' faces when they lose a game, and then they're trying to scramble to work out what they've got to do in that final game, and then they're cheering on their mate to beat so and so. And yeah, we've seen just about every emotion going during these group stages.
I mean, you look at the Nathan Aspinall performance from the other night, it's just nothing that he really could have done. He was hot on his doubles. I think you go back to that opening game, don't you, where it was just like, no, I think it was 22 attempts at a double, and I think he only got, I think it was 22% that he recorded in on his double rate. But someone like him, he was clearly frustrated, but at the same time, I know you've got to get those earlier games over and done with quickly and pick up results from the get-go, because when it comes to games 2 and 3, you got to hope that someone's not going to be winning 3, or if someone picks up and cleans up loads of legs in a row.
Yeah, look, 100%, because you look at it, there's pressure. When Luke Humphries is in your group, and I don't mean this disrespectfully to anyone else, but you're assuming that Luke is going to get through. He's the world number one. So then you're thinking, right, Alex Spellman coming over on debut, he's probably not going to get through. Has the ability to, but probably not. So then you look at that game between Michael Smith and Nathan Aspinall. Both players are going, this is huge. And then when you lose it, you're up against it, because then you're asking the guy that's probably going to finish bottom to do you a favour. And that's the issue. And then going into that final group game, Luke Humphries only needed one leg to go through.
Yeah.
And then Nathan Aspinall has to win and so on. So the odds are against him, because Luke knows he needs one. He gets that. He's averaging 130 for the first 3 legs. He's super relaxed. And unfortunately, Nathan Aspinall goes out.
5 legs is so brutal, isn't it? Like first to 5. It's fine if you're a player like us, probably you're probably an 80 average, aren't you, Bars? But I mean, me down there on the 50 average, you know what I mean?
I'd take an 80 average.
five legs down the pub, depending on who you're playing, that could take close to 45 minutes, because you never know, someone can't finish. But at the same time, it's brutal, but it's class at the same time, isn't it? Because you look at Beau Greaves last night, even though Beau's gone out 3-0 down to Nico Springer and then comes back and wins. It was absolutely sensational.
Yeah, look, Beau's been superb in this tournament, and look, we're all talking about her because she has been so good. She's pushed Michael van Gerwen and Gary Anderson, 2 legends, all-time greats of the sport, to the absolute limit. And then last night, she said it herself, she was a bit flat. She knew there was nothing on the game, but she still wanted to go and win, obviously, and put a performance on. And she did that. Yes, she was 3-0 down. The crowd got involved a little bit, but Beau has shown that next year she is going to be an absolute troublemaker on the tour. She's going to upset a lot of people next year.
What was the feelings like off the back of last night's win? I saw a couple of comments. Obviously, there was a discussion about her being involved in the Premier League, and Gezi said earlier on in the week that it'd be a joke, which it kind of would be. I know, obviously, we want bums on seats at the Premier League, and that's how it works. But for Beau to, obviously, she's played in 2 Grand Slams now. She's going into the Worlds. But I do think at this point in her career, it would be a joke. And Beau said, I don't really want people talking about me. I just want to get on with it. I don't need other people telling me I'm not ready. I know that. I know I'm not ready for the big leagues. I'll stop you right there, Beau. You are ready for the big leagues. You are ready for the big leagues because you've proven it. But, Phill, a Premier League spot, and we know how things can work, and obviously there is sometimes so-called favouritism in the Premier League, but the PDC have to sell tickets. But putting Beau in that 16, 17 weeks, if she makes it to the O2, I don't think right now would be fair on her, would it?
Look, is she good enough? 100%. We've seen that. We've seen the big averages. We've seen her take people on. I think Look, I think Gezzy's comment was taken a little out of context. That I think the joke, the bit where he said it was a joke, I don't think it was aimed at Beau. I think it was aimed at the fact that she's not on tour. She's not a tour player right now. So effectively, she's unranked and so on. Yes, Beau is incredible, but I think that's what Gezzy's point was, that, hang on a minute, she's not even a full-time tour player yet. So the talk of putting someone not on the tour in is wrong. I think that was my gut reaction, that was his point, not to that she's not good enough, but the way the system is and so on. And I get people's point that when they say, the PDC have got to sell tickets. When you look, I think 90% of the venues are all sold out without knowing the lineup.
Yeah, true.
So you could chuck her in because the tickets are sold. Look, don't get me wrong. Would I love to see it? Yes. Do I think it will happen? No. Unless she does a Luke Littler at the Worlds, and if she gets to the semi-final, which isn't beyond the realms, the game is there to go and do damage. Yes, you're relying a little bit on the draw because she's going to be unseeded. She could get Littler, Humphreys, Van Gogh in first round, which would be a disaster for us, her, and the tournament. But unless she goes semi-final at the Worlds and says, well, you have to pick me now, which, look, I'm sure we'd all love to see that. But right now, do I see it happening? Probably not.
We'll just get to the same thing in January as well, where X-player will be unhappy. People are going to be unhappy regardless because someone's always going to be missing. What did you make of the Nico Springer boos? Because I loved it personally, because obviously we're watching the Euro Tour close to every weekend, and the high majority of them are in Germany. And of course, a lot of our players from the UK and Ireland do get a lot of boos when they're on doubles and whatnot. But Nico Springer sort of like took his time and sort of played up to the crowd a little bit. Do you reckon the crowd got in his head?
A little bit, yeah. Because the dart tops was, let's be fair, I live closer. And then going into the lot, he never really settled again after that. And it's a learning curve. It's Nico's first year on tour, and it's something that he hasn't experienced a lot of. Obviously this, but I don't know what it is about Wolverhampton, the crowd, and German players against Beau, because it was here where Ricardo Pietrezco had his meltdown with the crowd against Beau as well. So there's something in the water here, I think. But yeah, look, it's one of those. Nico is a fabulous player, and things like this, where it wasn't too bad, but it's a learning curve, and he will learn and take so much from that experience.
Sad to see Jan van Veen go out last night, especially off the back of the Europeans as well. But Josh Rock,
that group was brutal though. When you've won your first 2 games and go out, but again, that group all came down to him not beating Lisa Ashton comfortably.
Yeah.
And look, Lisa is one of the all-time greatest women players that we will ever see. But when the other two have absolutely hammered her, and you don't, you're up against it for that reason. And look, I'm gutted that Jan's not through, and that's the cruel of the groups where it's brutal, you look at other groups, other players have gone through with not so good performances, and you're going, hang on a minute, how is he at? If he was in that group, or that group, he'd have walked it. So look, it's the luck of the draw.
I mean, Jan's he's so humble, and he's such an intelligent bloke at the same time as well. So easy to talk to, and he'll always put his hands up. Did you manage to see him last night when he was coming off stage, or was he just sort of like straight out of the venue?
No, we didn't see him when he come off. But he will be gutted because he's got Luke Humphreys first round at Minehead as well.
Yeah.
So the draws have been cruel, and I don't want to plant seeds of doubt in his mind, but he's not got out of the group here. He's got Luke Humphreys round 1 at Minehead. I hate to remind him, but he's never won a game at Ali Pali.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, look, we know he is an incredible player, but the mind plays tricks with you. Like the mind sees what it wants to see, and when you're winning and happy, all you see is this rosy garden.
Yeah.
But when it starts to go against you, you're like, oh, the world's conspired against me here. Humphreys beats me at Minehead. I've never won a game at the Worlds.
Well, he's still got to play Beau in the youths as well. Forget about that.
But then if he goes and beats Humphreys at Minehead, if he wins the World Youth and has a great run at Ali Pali, this is all forgotten. Yeah. So it's an interesting month or so for Jan. It really is.
Listen, round 16 kicks off tonight in Wolverhampton. Luke Woodhouse versus Ricky Evans. Luke's been quite open over the last month, couple of weeks, I say, about his struggles on the hockey. But 3 straight wins in his group. From being around him, do you feel like a sort of more rejuvenated player that he's in? Because he gives so much respect to the tour, and then you always wanted him to put it, not put in more, that's not fair, but you wanted to see him perform to the level that he does on the floor in sort of like the Euro tours and on the big stage. And even though I love Ricky, it is good to see Luke Woodhouse performing to this level, in it.
Yeah, I think Luke's been a bit hard on himself, if I'm being honest. Okay, the results may have not been there, but overall, when you take the season in context, he's had a fabulous season. He really has. And look, the last few weeks may not have gone the way he'd liked and so on. But again, I think dart players in general are guilty of just looking at 1 or 2 results in isolation instead of looking at the bigger picture for the season. Overall, Luke Woodhouse has had an incredible season. And he's come here, he's topped the group, 3 wins from 3. Stephen Bunting was much favoured to get out of that group, and he hasn't. You look at it, he's averaged best part of 97, 103, and then 93 last night. So 3 very good performances from Luke Woodhouse, and he should go into that game with Ricky Evans with so much confidence. But Ricky's a danger, and he's played really well. He was brilliant to beat Gerwyn Price, steady against Belmont. Look, James Wade played well to beat him, but Ricky was still in there. And look, this game is going to be dictated by the pace of Luke Woodhouse. If Evans can adapt to that pace, he's in it. And look, it's over the best of 19. So I think there'll be twists and turns in this game.
I love seeing Ricky on the big stage. He's built for it, innit? And, you know, it's just a shame, obviously, with everything that he's had going on in his life this year, losing his sister, he could have easily not played darts for the rest of the year with someone so close to you losing their life. And do you know what? You just doff your cap, like being a strong person coming through that. But you want him at these stages, don't you? You want him at all of the majors, because the entertainment value and the playing ability, when he's on it, Bars, we know you get in the dancing, and then the ability on the hockey as well. One of the most comfortable and greatest 180 hitters you could actually see on the tour. He's a bundle of joy, and I love the guy to bits. And you would want him see him win a major. But you know, you're talking about the floor game, and of course, like his personal life as well. Someone that's been quite open about their floor game, friend of the channel as well, good pal of mine, Connor Scott. I mean, we've known about Connor Scott for years. And then you see Mardle saying, like, this young man's got a very bright future. I was like, I think Connor's about the same age as me. He's 29. I think a lot of people are thinking that Connor Scott's like 22. But you know, Connor's season's been quite tough on the floor as well. But he is another player that is built for this major stage, I think.
Yeah, like, he's kind of saved his season. I remember like this time last year when he had that great run at Minehead. Went to the Worlds full of confidence, and we were, as pundits and media and so on, I think we were expecting a little bit more of Connor this year. We were hoping he was going to kick on, and for whatever reason, whether it's luck, timing or so on, that hasn't quite happened. And he's obviously missed Minehead. His world spot was in danger up until the last couple of Pro Tours as well, but then he's gone there, he's got himself to Ali Pali, he's qualified for this, he's got out of the group, so he's almost saved his season in 2 weeks. Yeah. Because there were a lot of questions that I love Connor to bits, but there were a lot of questions that was it a one season wonder? Was that his peak? He hasn't replicated it, but he's shown that is there. That is more than capable. So look, what a 2 weeks it's been for Connor, saving his season. The only downside to this is that if he can get through this last 16 game, he's probably going to run into Littler next round because of the way it goes. So look. Could he beat Littler over the best of? I'm not sure what it goes up to without looking, but it's going to be a long format game. You would fancy Littler to get the job done.
It's best of 19, I think.
It's this day. I know it goes. I think it's semi-finals. It goes up again. But look, beating Littler over that distance will be tough. But if you can get to that last 8 stage, then you've had a great tournament.
I texted him last night, Connor, and I went, even though you got them through, I hope that 51 doesn't keep you up because obviously he busts on that
Oh,
that treble 17. Oh mate, I was feeling for him. Right, Michael Smith. Then, just before we finish up, Phil, it's been an incredibly emotional week for Michael. Obviously, he's had his struggles with arthritis and whatnot. He's going to be taking on Chris Dobie. What's the feeling been like with Michael? Obviously, he doesn't want to stop playing darts. When he's on it, he's on it. And that's what you absolutely love to see from him. Beat Nathan earlier on in the week as well. Um, it just, some of the comments that he's been coming out recently about sort of alluding to that he feels like the forgotten man. But Michael Smith needs to remember that we've not been in that position. But it's hard to hear that from it was only a couple of years ago he won the World Championships. It was only last year that he was in the Premier League, and do you see him coming back to that sort of level that we know from Michael Smith?
yeah, look, there's been dark times for Michael Smith before. I remember seeing him walk out of the Winter Gardens when he lost the World Match Play final, thinking, is this ever going to happen? So Michael Smith's career has always been a roller coaster. The highs have been high, the lows have been low. He's always found a way to battle back from those lows, and we're seeing that again from him. Mid-season, he looked gone, and he'd probably say that himself. But there's a lot of work behind the scenes to get these injuries right, and as he said, they're never going to go away. I've got to learn to manage them and play with them. And over the last month, we've seen significant improvements on the Pro Tour. We've seen him average high once more. Yes, he's then dropped off, but that's fatigue and not used to playing so many games and so on. So look, Michael Smith is a battler and finds a way. And when he qualified for this, I don't think there would have been a dry eye in the darting world to see Michael Smith return to TV. First TV tournament since the UK Open, when he didn't have to qualify for it because he was already in it as a tour card holder. And look, Michael Smith is a danger because at the flick of a switch, it is still there.
Yeah.
He could go and produce a blistering performance to beat anyone. We've seen him do it, and we will see him do it again. As he said in a lot of media, I want to prove to everyone I am still one of the best. And he's gearing everything towards the World Championship. Everything is a building block for Alexandra Palace. And he's quite philosophical with the way he speaks. He said, look, if I get to the semi-final of the Worlds, I'm back in the top 10. and so he's fully aware of everything around him and so on. And look, he is one of the most natural players the game has ever seen. With all the stuff that he's gone through, this will make him a better player in the long run as well.
Bars, last one from me, mate, before we get going. Eddie Hearn, has he sort of dropped the darts is not only going to be going to Saudi Arabia, but Abu Dhabi as well? I mean, Bars, we've got quite sort of fairish hair. You'll be potentially out. You will be going over there because you go to absolutely everything. I think about factor 50, mate. But
it's not ginger friendly over there, that's for sure.
I think you're going to struggle. But what's going on? We're going to Abu Dhabi as well. Is that going to be another World Series situation, or are they making something completely new? What have you heard on the street?
Well, we kind of heard whispers for the last few weeks that when they announced Saudi Arabia, it was like, hang on a minute, why are they going Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday? So everyone, by the way the fixtures were there, everyone kind of guessed that there was going to be a third one at the end of that tour. Otherwise, they'd have just gone weekend, and then fly home on the Sunday. So everyone kind of guessed, and like, hang on a minute, there's going to be another one there. But I'm sure father like son, and so on. Barry loves a spoiler, and Eddie's done it as well. And I'm sure Matt and the PDC media team will be pulling their hair out when he drops it. I'm sure they've had a nice release and all that ready for, right, this is the third one going. We're going to Abu Dhabi for the third time, and Eddie's like, hold my coat, I've got this, boys.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, that was the great and powerful Phill Barrs there. Round of 16, the Grand Slam. This is what is going to be happening tonight. Luke Woodhouse versus Ricky Evans. Gerwyn Price versus Martin Schindler. Luke Humphries versus Van Velde, and Chris Dobie and Michael Smith to finish it off. And of course, I can't be bothered to do the fixtures for tomorrow. It's all about tonight. Right, Phil, appreciate your time. Good luck on the mean streets of Wolverhampton, pal.